Happy Tuesday, everyone. Glad that we are here in Satsang. So, saying hello from India. So jet lagged. It's 5:30 a.m. here, and so today let's talk a little bit about Satsang. And one of the topics. So Parul says hi to everyone, and she wrote something which we'll talk about, which is one of the core concepts of satsang. So talking about, you know, so the core concept here is that we be with the transcendental energy, conscious energy, uplifting, positive energy, energy that transforms. And to be with transcendental energy itself is meditation. So meditation is at the core, so it's not surprising. And the way we connect to this energy is within the heart center. So inward orientation is another very integral part of the process. And satsang is a family. You know, so Guru Maharaj and his guru kind of said, guru, disciple, too many rules, too many things to, you know, um, it's something that evolves in a group, the group energy, when people manifest transcendental energy together, there is a multiplier effect. And I mean, it's very, I feel it, but it's hard to explain. It's something to be experienced. So the more in the group, the more they are with the transcendental energy, the more they connect, orient, and develop capacity, the more the group dynamics evolves. And what I mean by that is the inner happiness. That's another very core. So joy people talk about, but joy is nothing but inner happiness, which means that that joy is not connected to something material, something to be achieved, something, it's a normal, natural equilibrium state where um, you just be at that state. So yeah, so let's talk about this concept of uh, uh, um, okay. So okay, where did I? So Tawaz is like goes way back to when the first like in person, in sitting in front, so Dada Guru Maharaj and Guru Maharaj both had the first session, and what transpired around around that, I think can be termed as tawazeh. So it is when higher spiritual power is transferred from one person to another. Guru Maharaj experienced this through his guru, Dada Guru Maharaj, who quietly and effectively raised Guru Maharaj's consciousness to the highest level possible, or almost. So in the first session, the first real, in-person session they had, of the 5 realms, he actually experienced that, the light was coming from his heart, from the other Guru's heart to Guru Maharaj's heart, and he felt lighter, as though he was floating, and so on and so forth. So he was then told that this was the fourth realm of the five, and then and then three times he actually. So if materialism is at the bottom and enlightenment is at the top, or the ocean of peace is at the top, he went three times consciously with the other Guru Maharaj. First it took, I think, 3 years. The second time it took 14 months. And the third time, I think it took 7 or 9 months. The Tawaz is a concept that's hard to grasp for most people, but it's at the core of satsang. You don't need to speak about your spiritual gifts or understand your spiritual progress logically. All you need to do is be part of this community with the right mentors, gurus, who can raise your consciousness just by being there. And simultaneously, you can lean on your community for support along the journey. In satsang, we believe that this community is our family because we are transmuting even our deepest attachments into healthy detachments, even transforming our closest connections like family and life relations, romantic relationships, in a healthy way in order to connect deeply with all people. So kind of sort of broadening your horizon, and especially to connect with satsang family as your own. So there are many chapters along a spiritual journey. However, with the right support, you can go from one level to the next with ease and without the obstacle of getting stuck in one place spiritually, mentally, or emotionally for longer than needed. With guidance and with gurus, your priests, your guide, or whatever you choose to believe in by your side, you're able to transcend the past, pass the tests of life, and you're able to integrate the lessons and the learnings of your spiritual path to the highest levels, while easily moving on to where you need to go next on the path to enlightenment. This journey is one that, although we take it alone and create individual practice, it is full of support, especially in this process that Guru Maharaj set up, with the concept of Tawaz being at the center of it. You can walk this path knowing that you're supported in ways unseen. And I personally am, an example. I've experienced this throughout my life. Group meditations like this one, you will access higher states and you will connect deeply with divinity within you and things, or the transcendental energy that's way, bigger, hard to fathom. And, we'll talk a little more about Tawaz, but to me, actually, there was a news article. So in Africa, one mother had a child which had some rare disease, and specialists, all doctors kind of, just gave up and said, like, this is, matter of days, maybe at most weeks. And she was determined. She actually held that infant right next to her body 24/7. And that intimacy, that support, when the article came out, that kid was, several years old. It's so, think of that as a physical form of Tawaz. But there is a spiritual form of Tawaz where, it's and we have talked about, how the sun's energy gets stored into a solar cell and then lights up the dark night. And, you know, a huge water tank in the community supplies water to the entire community just because it's elevated, um, and it's higher capacity. Um, so that's, you know, uh, just some models and examples. But, a connection is key, and orientation in terms of, how the reflector needs to be oriented towards the sun in the solar uh, energy case. Um, but anyway, let's get into meditation. Um, you know, replenishing the energy within uh, day and night, at least morning and evening consciously, I think should be the key. So eyes lightly closed and sit in a relaxed and still posture and think of this conscious source of this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're becoming one with this light. When mind wanders away, bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that this transcendental energy is right here, right now, and our entire focus is just to observe that this light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming the light. Let's start now. So happy Tuesday. So yeah, that was a, I actually wrote several pages in Hindi, taking it out from the 7-volume, 28 chapter book that Guru Maharaj wrote on his journey, Sadhana Ke Anubhav. Eventually, I think, and then I lost those. So I'll have to rewrite again. I'm extracting what is Tawaz and from the book, and then put it in a like more structured form in Hindi, and then bring that out in English. I think hopefully soon. It's a two-way give and take. In all religions, it's like there is this concept of like just come along with me. Guru Maharaj used to people used to say, so what should I do? Just he would say, just come to meet and have a get together or something. I think Milna Julna in Hindi, it's like just come and meet. However small the so the transfer of power has to happen from the higher source, but because it's a two-way street, you have to connect, orient, store. So all that is core. Attention. I think attention. So there are so many words which kind of you take parts of those and put them all together. That would be Tawaz. Any questions, thoughts, comments on the topic?
Hi, thank you for the meditation.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, very good.
Yeah, interesting concept to wrap your head around.
It is. It's like magic, but it's not really, in the sense that it works. It needs to be two-way connection and intent. And, see, even like this is, in Guru Maharaj's terms, the highest level of service, where you change people to be in a higher state. But anyway, you were saying something.
No, it's just yeah, it's a very deep concept to understand, mostly because, well, the way that I can wrap my head around it, through my experienced examples, through what I've experienced in my life, would probably be just a general, like, getting influenced by people's energy. So there are few people that I think about, in my mind, in my life, who have very strong energies, and I know that when I'm around them, it shifts the way I think, it shifts the way I act, it leaves an impression. It doesn't happen with everyone. So I know that there are certain people that have a higher they're on a higher frequency or something. I don't know. Um, so I'm sure that there's a connection that happens with someone who's reached an even higher state. And like you said, it's a two-way street, and I'm just thinking about my end of it. And I'm thinking about how I still feel like I'm, at like the level one of it, where um, I'm just trying to concentrate. And that is the goal is just to have, for me, the goal is to have the longest amount of focus on that point of the light. And that's really all I'm able to intake during meditation. But so I don't know if the um tawaze tawaze
That was
is
it. That was
tawaze
it.
tawaze is um necessarily something that feels accessible in during meditation
No,
currently, but maybe it's not up to me and it's just something that happens.
no, I think this process is devised around this concept only that, in a more abstract form, you are looking at this source and you're connecting to it, and this source is actually a conscious source where the power, unfathomable power, is actually affecting your current state, manifesting that state. And uh, but
Right.
then it's satsang also says that once you actually get to a point where you have lifted yourself up through the process, then people around you will start getting affected by it. And then, if there is an intent that you want to change someone, or the other person also wants to. So actually, Guru Maharaj wrote that initially the other Guru Maharaj, you know, quote unquote, cleansed him unknowingly, in the sense like he didn't know. Um, so,
Right. See, that makes sense to me. I feel like it wouldn't be something you're aware of while it's happening,
yeah.
which is a relief, I think. I just wouldn't want to know that it's happening.
Mm, yeah, interesting concept.
Another thought I had about attention,
Hmm.
um, I was just thinking about this, I think last Saturday, um, kind of trying to talk myself through what I was thinking or what was distracting me in the meditation, um, which was me maybe like over analyzing in the moment. But I was thinking about, my attention keeps going towards the future or the past or
Hmm.
random things, like a song melody
Right.
will play or just the most random things.
Mm.
But specifically when it comes to replaying like a past event or thinking about a task later, I was trying to sort of justify why I was thinking about it in the moment with myself, to think why am I letting myself, in the 30 minutes I have where my goal is to focus on the source, why do I let my mind go to these places where I know there's no logic to that either. It's not that thinking about the future right now is going to do anything about it. It's not that replaying
No,
something from the past is going to do anything.
imagine that most of us uh, just live life like that only, right? So what
Yeah.
happens is during certain times, because of some event, because of even some things like, okay, there is an exam or there is something that you need to very quickly learn, then
Hmm.
you focus, concentrate. Otherwise, what you're describing is normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. So that is why meditation not only on one hand it rests your mind, on the other hand, it actually helps you concentrate, focus, streamline, channelize energy, um, and the neuroplasticity side of it, like uh, you know, brings so many things in order in our brain, um, especially behavior overall. So it's just uh, you know the whole thing is that um, I think I've talked about these three energies. So you will be having one of those three energies dominant at all times. So sometimes a positive sat effect is there, and you're feeling refreshed. You're feeling very focused, very positive, very uplifted in or and outside the meditation, right? And then there is this state that you're describing, which becomes dominant, and it's not as um, um, like rewarding a meditation. Sometimes we feel, but it's essential thread that needs to essential phase that we need to go through. So it's part of the cleansing. The random stuff that comes, um, it's not just you. I mean, these phases come, and early on, the more of those phases, then it starts fading away. So call it cleansing. Um, but you have to go through this. That's what my father used to say. Then, you know, and we all go through those phases where it's like, I don't want to meditate, to, lethargy, and just not motivated to meditate, and so on and so forth. So that's the third one, which is, I mean, so-called worse, but sometimes when you close your eyes and it's all dark and you don't want to do anything, it's actually a very quote unquote another aspect of a calm state where nothing is happening. Um, so all these have their own um, place in meditation. So these three energies, one of them is dominating in all your meditation sessions. So one of these is more dominant.
Mm,
Yeah. So
cool.
people say like, oh, I can't meditate. I can't do this. I'm like, just sit, meditate. I don't care which phase I am in or which. I mean, and I have like Guru Maharaj documents this that your job, your duty, your uh, calendar schedule, or your part of the effort in this Tawaz is that you develop a consistent practice that will get deeper and deeper. These other phases, other than the Sat positive phase, other phases will fade slowly into the background. But even when you are achieving higher states, um, these phases will come. the ego, the greed, the, other anger. Uh, we all have these dominant, like, dormant, sometimes dormant, like envy.
Mm-mm.
You will not feel envy for a while, and then boom. And I have seen like it would strike and spike. And it's like, gosh, what happened to my state? Um, and yeah, so the thing is that you will be tackling these things. So it's a daily fight. So you need daily replenishment, and you will say, oh, today's medicine didn't do anything because the spike was like so high. That's not the way it works. It's like your medicine continues, these spikes, then so FIR, the frequency, the intensity, and the recovery times continue to reduce as we move along. And as that happens, your inner happiness, which we talked about, or joy, uh, the the settling point that I am like, this is my point of inner happiness, that keeps increasing as we move along this line.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah,
Looking forward.
it's not, yeah, it's not like, you know, um, this is a long term, prepping for a marathon kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really nice to have these reminders that even when you think things are not working, they are.
Yeah.
I think that's always the points that we're at our weakest, where I feel the weakest, is when I think, oh, nothing happened from that 30 minutes
See, the
because,
so-called good states, right? Even those sometimes are like, you know, fueling your ego, right?
yeah,
Sometimes
right.
those are like you have power over others, which sometimes unintentionally you are doing things which are affecting people, right? So uh, meditation has so many byproducts. Like you reflect, you suddenly start seeing things like as though you're seeing a mirror. Like, what am I doing here? Right? So it's always, and then, satsang, that whole group, when the group evolves together, you observe people that, oh, he is such a nice person, but look at his anger. He is such a nice person, but the energy is still very not so calming, quote unquote. Anyway, yeah, Peter is saying no matter what, don't give up. Yeah, that's the key. It's all about like consistency and going deeper and deeper into the practice. Uh, More than Guru Maharaj used to say, it's not the time that you give, it's the consistency of like small uh, but consistent practice. I read a book about like 8-minute meditation. So like that was all about like just 8 minutes, more than enough. And one line that stuck with me was like, even for 7 minutes, if you cannot get into a good meditative state, don't give up. Try. There's another 60 seconds left. Let's not give up. Maybe, and sometimes I have felt that, it's not good, not good. And then suddenly you have those, you know, brief moments of deep silence, and, very powerful, very uplifting. I just feel those, brief moments actually just worthwhile effort you did to sit in meditation. All right. Any other thoughts, questions? Paul, I have to send you an email or two.
Yes, yeah, it's funny because yesterday, um, I was like in a, like in a club dancing or something, and it's funny, everybody seemed like so depressed, and it's interesting because it's like, I mean, it's not the same as like satsang, but it's funny because like everybody was like, it was a weird club, there was no dance floor, everybody was like all VIP section, and it was weird because like I just wanted to dance and everybody's just standing there like oh like like trying to look good and everything. And I was just like, oh, let me just like dance. And it's funny because like everybody like I kind of created a circle of people just dancing in the middle, and it's interesting how you see like energy influencing other people, kind of like,
Yeah.
and but it's like I could imagine like with like satsang, like everybody like let's say if people meditate in the park, even like you see people just meditating, you're like, oh, I want to meditate too. Or
Yeah.
you see like people um even just like doing anything. And it's interesting how like um yeah, no, yeah, I love how
I mean, so it's a give and take, right? I mean, you described there were people who were not in that energy and they came in, and you influenced. So there is always that give and take that is going on. Satsang is like just taking that concept and applying it to meditation in a way that, um, I actually, the more I think about it, uh, this positive influence and how meditation actually, I've like seen lives transform. And that is when I said like, this actually works. And
Mhm.
that is when I really thought like, even if people don't get it, like Tawaz, the concept we're talking about, it's so hard to uh, grasp all the aspects around it. And I'm hoping that as I write and translate and all that, like it will, some jewels will come out more crisp and clear and sparkling than they are,
Mhm.
right now. But the whole thing is like I've seen very ordinary, quote unquote, like ordinary people just living a very uncommonly, you know, um, known states, right? It's like they are just so even keel, so unperturbed, so and the same person a few years ago was different, right? And it's like
Mhm.
this much change in a culture and time where these things just don't seem to be happening as much. Um, you know, it's like, okay, so to me, it's like, even if we collectively, for a few moments of calm, few moments of higher state, few moments of like replenishing the energy, any of that is like, okay, worth it.
Yeah, that's true. Mm. Yeah, it's like yeah, even just like this a tiny little difference.
Right, right. So in the right direction, it's like you
Mhm.
feel better about yourself, better about, you see, it's not even like by telling somebody something doesn't sometimes change. When they meditate and elevate themselves, you know, that has a lasting effect.
Yeah. Yeah, like I remember I had a friend like a long time ago, years ago, that I was like always like putting myself down. I was always like very on like I was like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And then a friend literally like it was in college and she was like, oh, you're gonna do good, you got this. Like those few words I still remember to this day. And I was
Mm.
like, and I remember like I was like, oh, let me keep trying, let me keep going, let me keep. And just because like one sentence, like that was like 2010, literally like 15 years ago. And it was
Yeah.
like that one sentence like literally like pushed me to like do better, do better, do better. And it's like that and this is funny because like I don't even think she even knew the magnitude of how that sentence was.
Yeah, so it's so Guru Maharaj would, you know, like have a discourse before the meditation, slight explanation after. The whole idea was like one of those positive things, you know, get you, you know, thinking, and then you internalize it in meditation,
Mm,
right? And so that, so yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, these things have an effect, and once you internalize it, then
yeah.
it's a life effect.
Mm. Oh yeah. Now I understand. See, oh yeah. Now I understand like the like the topic first, and then we go to meditation. Then we discuss it because like we get to like think about it, and I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, anything we say sometimes, right? Like, let me sleep on it, let me meditate on it, right?
Mm,
It's a thing.
yeah, that's awesome. Mm,
Cool. All right. On that note, you know, love, light, and peace be with you. Let's all get together again in satsang soon. Um, so yeah, on 8th, I think there is an event, so Parul and I have to be there. But what I'm thinking is that I'll excuse myself for 15 minutes, and then we'll figure it out. I think we'll have the session on Saturday morning.
cool, awesome. Yeah,
All right.
well, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you. Good night.